starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the DropZone, brought to you by Doobie. And that
There you go.
for some reason I can't speak this week. I had the same issue at work.
There you go. Starting off strong.
And we got your hosts with you, Anthony Young and Jeff Walsh. How we doing, bud?
Good. That's on for the blooper reel. I'm doing pretty good. Very excited. The NBA playoffs are upon us. We got a lot to talk about with those. Games are not going as I totally expected. Very interesting series. NFL draft is upon us. Your Giants made a move you're not too happy with. Me and you have different opinions on that. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Well, you can tell by the start of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, other than having issues talking this week, not too bad.
That's good.
So, that's a first. I've never opened a show like that.
Nope. No, it's usually about halfway through. You have a fumble. That was a minute in. That was good.
I don't even think it was a minute. It was a few seconds.
Yeah, it was. But yeah. Again, we got NBA playoffs today. We're going to talk about that. And then some NFL news and a little bit of NBA news, and that's it. So I don't know where should we should start maybe with the NFL news because it's not that much, and we'll go all the way into the NBA stuff.
Yeah, we can do it that way. That's fine.
All right. So we'll start off strong with your New York Giants. We're gonna start off with that one. They traded Dexter Lawrence to Cincinnati for the number 10 overall pick, and Lawrence signed a 1-year, $28 million extension with Cincinnati. Again, I'm gonna let you go first because it is your team, and I know you feel strongly about this. So you can take it away and your thoughts and opinions on Dexter Lawrence. Here we go. Yes. Here we go.
Let's see. Where do I start? I know. I think it was like 2 shows we was talking about. 2 shows ago, I believe we were speaking about the situation, and oh, there's a stranger. Hey, Mary. Jeff, you see who's on? So, like I said, I think it was 2 weeks ago we was talking about this, maybe a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
That he wasn't happy with the fact that they wouldn't extend him, and I brought up the fact that if they extended him, it would actually help the team free up some more money because now you could move money around from his current deal to the extension, and you're keeping him, and you're keeping your best defensive player, not only on the team but happy as well. Apparently, this was a Jim Harbaugh decision, which to me, for a defensive minded head coach, doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. because why would you give up your best defensive player or not, or even refuse to give him the contract extension? I mean, as soon as he got to Cincinnati, he signed a 1 year extension, which basically, you know, he stays in Cincinnati for, I believe, it'll keep him now for 4 years, which they could have done the same thing right here in New York, just give him 1 year extension to keep him, with the Giants and help bolster in that defense for 4 years. So now they trade him away for, granted, it's a top 10 pick. So now they have two top 10 picks in this year's draft. But what's the odds of you finding somebody that's going to replace Sexy Dexy? Granted, he had an off year this year, or this past year. His numbers were well below what they usually are. But still, I mean, just to sit there and say, well, okay, he had off numbers. We're not going to basically talk contract extension because they're probably feeling, okay, well, what if he's on a decline? And, I understand it. It's a business. But if you look at every player in NFL history, I'm pretty sure you'll find that they had 1 or 2 years where their numbers wasn't what they were supposed to, what they usually were. Just because they're not, where they're at for a year doesn't mean that the player's on a decline, doesn't mean anything like that. Unless a player is like really seriously old. But yeah, it was just, to me, I mean, I'm glad he did that he got his money. Because us, we're all about the players getting their money. But I still would have preferred it where he was stayed in New York and they would have gave him the money. But apparently, like I said, that was a Harbaugh's decision, and if that was the case, he's already not making friends with Giants faithfuls. You don't trade your best defensive player, not to mention one of your most popular players, because you refuse to give him a contract extension. That's just fucking stupid.
So I'm definitely mixed on this. I understand what you're saying. Um, again, a positive is that you guys actually got something out of him because he really, I think he was pretty much dead set on he didn't want to play until he got a contract extension or he got traded. He was that frustrated with the Giants organization at this point. So I kind of understand Harbaugh and being like, we don't want the noise or the distraction of him possibly not playing, what it's going to do to the locker room of, if we keep him, but we know he's not happy, and wants to be out of here. I get kind of all aspects of both sides of they shouldn't have traded him. They should have just given him the contract extension. But I feel like Dexter was just kind of on the point of I don't want to be here anymore because they've been disrespecting me for years and not giving me my extension. So I don't even want to play for this team no more. And Harbaugh was like, okay, we're gonna not have this spoil what could be a good season. And again, they have two top 5 picks. Again, there's no guarantee that they're gonna get somebody to replace him immediately, but maybe in the future, that person that they pick at either the 5 or the 10 will become somebody that is maybe just as good as Dexter Lawrence, if not maybe a bit better. That's why that they made this move of what could possibly happen. I know it's a kind of a damper on what was or has been a great offseason for the Giants. But I think it was pretty much like Lawrence was pretty much done with the Giants, and as much as the Giants probably wanted to keep him, they just didn't want to keep a distraction to what could be a really good season, even without Lawrence. So I think instead of just, almost like a Saquon thing, because just letting him walk or just not play or whatever the case would have been if they didn't trade him, get a top 10 pick out of him, and just let the noise die down. And just again, we got a draft coming up tomorrow, and again, who knows who they could get in the top two of the 5 picks. Yeah, I mean, but again, I understand your side of it. Of again, he was a great Giant. Um, you really wanted to keep him. He's your best defensive piece. But again, it is a business, and you don't want anything to kind of soil a locker room and the environment that you guys have. You guys have a good momentum shift in the locker room and on your team with just how it's looking this offseason. So again, and now there's even more positives worth getting another top 10 pick to where this could turn into somebody possibly in the future, 2 or 3 years from now. Maybe as good as Dexter, but time will tell.
And I completely understand what you're saying, and to some degree, I mean, I do agree to some point. But at the same time, if they just would have been like, you know what, we're going to give you the extension. I'm pretty sure if they would have gave him the extension, he would have been happy. Because that's all he basically wanted. He wanted the extension. It was the same thing with Barkley. Another dumb move where they picked Daniel Jones over Barkley, and then the following year you let Barkley walk. And then that following year, what does he do? He helps the fucking Eagles win a championship. So now wouldn't it be ironic if you trade Dexter to Cincinnati and Cincinnati wins a fucking championship?
I don't think that's happening.
We didn't think the Eagles was going to win a championship, and it happened.
Well, Joe Burrow's got to stay healthy for the whole season. That's not going to happen because the offensive line still sucks. And Dexter Lawrence is now the only piece on the Bengals defense. So I don't see that happening.
But you know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, I know. But I just don't. Again, at least you guys got something out of him. Other than with Saquon, you guys got nothing. And you just paid Daniel Jones a shit ton of money for nothing. And
I mean, you really can't say we got something from just yet because we don't know how that pick is going to turn out.
yeah. What
I
I mean,
mean,
something is just like you didn't, like the player didn't just walk. Like you at least got like a pick, just anything out of him other than a star player like Saquon. You got nothing in return for him.
true.
But I don't understand why he wanted an extension so bad. He still has 2 years left on his contract. I understand wanting more money, but you have 2 more years still. So he's with Cincinnati for the next, like you said, 3 or 4 years now. But you could have just, you know,
I,
let the
I
team
think
have
for
success, and then you can get more money out of it because the team is on the road to success right now.
I
And
think for some, not to cut you off, but I
mhm,
think for some players, it's more about loyalty and security. They want to know if to them, I'm pretty sure they're feeling, hey, I'm being loyal to you by staying. You know, I want to see if you're loyal to me by giving me the contract extension. Yeah, even though he had 2 years left, for some players, that's a way for them to see if the franchise is loyal to the player or they just don't care. So to me, I'm taking it as the franchise was saying, well, we're not sure yet. After everything you've done, and that to him, that's making him think, oh, you guys aren't going to be loyal to me, so I don't need to be loyal to you, which is why he basically asked for the trade.
yeah, I understand. It's a tough situation, like you said. It's a business. Um, to where it was just a tough choice, and they had to make that tough choice of just saying, "All right, thank you for everything, but we're going to Cincinnati. Have fun." Uh, there's a player who did get a huge, well, I mean, a few that got huge signings. Houston signed defensive end Will Anderson to a 3-year, $150 million, $134 million guaranteed contract extension, which makes him the highest paid non QB in NFL history. That is wow. I mean, that is we talk about players getting money. That is definitely getting money right there. He deserves it. He's been playing really well these past couple of seasons. And Houston locks down one of their best defensive players. Don't know if you have anything on that, but that is a huge contract extension.
I think I actually sent you that notification when I got it or when I
Yeah, you
seen
did.
it.
I was like, what the fuck? 150 million, 134. But hey, man, he earned it. He earned that shit.
Again, we're at the mindset of, hey, we're all for the players getting their money because these teams have no problem cutting a player the minute things go bad and stuff like that. So we get all of that. Yeah, the fact that he got a 3-year, 150 million extension with 134 guarantee. That's the main part, was the guaranteed money. Because now that basically says, hey, you're telling Houston, hey, now if you're going to cut me, it's going to cost you.
Hmm? Like that's
And
like with
so
the Tua contract, he's still owed all that money by the fucking
the Dolphins,
team,
exactly.
which is
So,
absolutely crazy.
um, like I said, I mean, I remember the time where teams didn't offer that kind of guaranteed money. But now teams are like taking a chance. Granted, a defensive end is a different position than a QB position. Um, because a QB position, your lifespan as a quarterback is really not that long. Depending on if you could, avoid getting hit and stuff like that. Whereas a defensive end, your lifespan is a little bit more easier to sustain, unless you get some freak serious injury. But yeah, I mean, for him, I mean, yeah, he's right now one of the top defensive ends in the league. So you know what that means when your boy TJ Watts come up for his contract.
Yep,
He's going to be looking to either be in that ballpark or higher. So
yep, that happens
Pittsburgh,
every single time.
so Pittsburgh better start making moves to free up that money.
It happens every single time because every time somebody gets one, they just gets even higher and higher and higher.
Yep.
Um, Speaking of guys getting huge contracts, Dallas signed kicker Brandon Aubrey to a 4-year, $20 million guaranteed contract. He is probably arguably the best kicker in the NFL. So he definitely deserves it. That's a whole lot of money to pay a kicker, but at times we've seen a field goal comes down to winning a game, a Super Bowl, many important plays. So I guess it'll probably be worth it in the end, maybe for the Dallas Cowboys. It's Tony that they signed a big extension. It's their year now, so
We'll say that again.
it's their year. So it's their year every year. So now that they have Aubrey for a whole another year, it has it's got to be their year now. Has to be.
Well, I won't go that far.
I know. Every year is their year.
I
And then
mean, you still got Dak Prescott as your quarterback.
I know. I know. And George Pickens a wide receiver, so
I mean, Pickett's not too bad if he could quit his childish behavior.
I know that's what I mean. Uh, 49ers and left tackle Trent Williams finally chose to stay together at a 2-year, $50 million extension. Uh, he's one of the best left tackles in the league, so he definitely deserves this one. But that saga was going on pretty much all off season so far, and that is finally over.
Yeah, finally. I mean, I've actually been tired of hearing about this for quite a while.
Yeah, so I'm
So,
definitely happy that is done and over with. Just he got his extension, and we can stop talking about it.
exactly.
All right. Just few NBA news. Victor Wembanyama was the first ever unanimous Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, you know this was coming sooner or later, uh, for sure. Because I mean, he's
Yeah,
7 foot
that.
freaking five, and he's been playing amazing. He's a difference maker on the defensive end for sure. Teams play differently when he's in there or not. So well earned on that one.
Yeah, I mean, you. It's hard to not vote for a 7 foot guy that's could block shots and everything. Basically, change the flow of a game with just like in a heartbeat. The fact that he's the first unanimous defensive player of the year is amazing, considering all the great defensive players that has come through the NBA. That he is actually the first unanimous one. Um, I mean, like, I don't got much to say about it. Just kudos to him on being the first unanimous. I don't think we're ever going to see another unanimous in defensive player of the year again. If we do, I mean, if they give it to him back to back, that'll be another historical first. But I just don't see them coming out voting for another defensive player to be unanimous.
No, but I mean, yeah, I guess the only time it would probably happen again is with him, uh, in our lifetime, probably because he is a freak of nature and he's like one of a kind. And then San Antonio gets another award. Forward Keldon Johnson wins Sixth Man of the Year. It was between him, Hamahakas Jr., and somebody else. I don't remember. Uh, but yeah, Calvin Johnson wins Sixth Man of the Year, and then OKC point guard SGA wins Clutch Player of the Year. Not shocking there. He's one of the best clutch players in the NBA, if not the best. So he wins it over, I think, Jalen Brunson and somebody else. It's been a long week. People, don't judge me. I can't remember certain things. Um, and on the 16th, we got ruling that the NBA and NBPA have ruled in favor of Lakers Luka Doncic and Pistons Cade Cunningham on the extraordinary circumstances challenge for the 65 game reward rule, making both eligible for all 2025-2026 season honors such as MVP and All NBA teams. That's what we were hoping for because their
Yes.
injuries were very like crazy and rare and like again extenuating circumstances with Cade being the collapsed lung and Luca missed time with having the birth of his child, which is definitely something that should have been just again like not counted towards a missed game. So that thankfully they're in the running for the MVP and the All NBA teams, which is what we were vouching for. I think a few years ago, or a few weeks ago, when we saw that they weren't going to be able to be eligible.
Yeah, it's great to see that the NBA did make an exception, along with the NBA Players Association, which if a lot of people don't know what that is, that was the NBPA that Jeff said earlier. Um, yeah, I was glad that they did make that exception because those were two, incidents that was out of the player's control. You can't control when somebody's wife is going to go into labor, and I mean, I'm glad that they didn't hold it against Luca that he wanted to be there for the birth of his child. And with Cunningham, his situation, it was bizarre by itself, because that came out of nowhere. So for them to rule that they're still eligible for the all the awards, was what we was lobbying for. I mean, we voiced our opinion very well, and I know a lot of other people that do podcasts and other things, those streaming services, was voicing their opinion about it. How there should be exceptions. If something like this comes up with players, and we're glad to see that the NBA finally actually listen to the voices.
Yeah, because I think if they missed out on it by like one game or two games, there would have been a huge uproar, and they need to change a few things on the rulings and stuff. But I'm obviously I think that they got it right, based off of, again, we voice our opinions, and more prominent people that have more of a voice than we do right now voice their opinions on this as well, and they got it right for sure. Now on to the NBA playoffs. We could start with the 1-8 matchup of the Magic and the Pistons, which took a surprising turn. Um, did not expect the Magic to win Game 1. That's a definite. I did not expect that one. Um, I mean, you. It came down to the Magic scoring was more balanced than the Pistons. The Pistons pretty much just had Cade Cunningham and Tobias Harris go off, and then the Magic was all balanced. Paulo with 23, Franz with 19, Wendell Carter with 17, Desmond Bain with 17, and Jalen Suggs with 16. And then Kate Cunningham had 39, and Tobias Harris had 17. Game 2 is on right now, actually, and the Pistons are leading 11-18 so far. Again, I definitely did not see this coming. The Magic winning Game 1. I think I had the Pistons probably sweeping. Oh, I don't remember what I said, but that was impressive by the Magic. But the Pistons got to turn around. They got to get this win at home, and take momentum back in the series before going back to Orlando for Game 3. So yeah, again, very shocking that Orlando won Game 1, in my opinion.
I'm not gonna say I was shocked. Just for the simple fact is, with Cunningham coming back, we wasn't. I mean, let's be 100% honest. We wasn't really sure in what condition he would be actually in. But the fact that the only other player that scored in double digits was excuse me, Tobias Harris, says a lot about the Pistons' offense and the Magic's defense, because the Magic had five players in double digits, and every single one of them almost had at least 20 points. Bachero had 23, Wagner had 19, Carter Jr. had 17, Bain had 17, and Suggs had his 16. Where you look at the Pistons bench offensive production, Harris had 17, Duncan Robinson only had put up 9, Jalen Duran only had 8, Cunningham with Czar went crazy, put up 39, and then Thompson only had 8. So yeah, there was literally no help for Harris and Cunningham. So yeah, the Pistons offense need to get it together. Otherwise, this is going to be a lopsided game.
Yeah, it kind of exposed that they don't really have another ball handler or someone who can create their own shot other than Cade. I mean, they've uh, the Jenkins guy off the bench and Levert, but the bench was almost non-existent in this game for the Pistons. And yes, all 5 starters for the Magic scored in double figures, and they almost all scored 20 points. So that's something that they got to lock down. And then the 2-7 matchup with the Sixers in Boston. Not going well. Game one went how I expected. The Boston Celtics absolutely whooped the Sixers 91 to 123. Embiid out. I'm not shocked at that one at all. That's how you do it. When your team's in the playoffs, you just don't play for them. PG was the second leading scorer with 17 points. Tyrese Maxey had 21. That was pretty much it. The Sixers did not have much offense in this game, whereas the Celtics, I've noticed as I was doing my research and stuff, Tony is seeing my research on the full
Yeah.
display. I sent him that earlier. He was like, "What the fuck?" Um, uh, the Celtics. I mean, a lot of teams. I can't just say the Celtics, but the Celtics are the team that I think of the most. They rely on the 3-point shot so much. They shot amazing from the 3-point line in this game one. Sam Hauser went 4-6. Tatum only went 1-7, but then you got uh, Jalen Brown went 2 for 2. Not great, but they shot better than they did in game two, which, spoiler, they lost. But it was definitely very even scoring. Tatum and Brown had 25 and 26. But then everyone else was kind of quiet, but it was definitely very more of a balanced scoring. And they were able to take game one again very easily, like I expected. But yeah, that was game one. Again, this kind of went how I expected it to go, but not how game two went. But we'll talk about that in a second.
My only issue is with Joel Embiid. I mean, unless you got like a broken leg or something like that, there should be no excuse why you're not playing in the playoffs. I mean, unless it's a serious injury where you physically can't get on the court, you should. I mean, you should drag yourself out there because I'm pretty sure with Embiid that would have made it a probably more closer game. They could have given him the chance of actually winning the game. But when you only have looks like what 4 players in double digits, you're not going to be the Celtics team that had 6 players in double digits. So yeah, you're. I mean, like I said, unless Embiid was like, physically could not be on the court, there should be no excuse why his ass wasn't out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to even see what his injury is. I don't remember. That is one thing I didn't get in my research. What the fuck is his injury? Abdomen. He last
Okay.
played on the 6th against San Antonio. Oh, he had to go to the hospital with the abdomen injury.
Okay. That could be explainable why he wasn't out on the floor.
Yeah. My apologies, Embiid. But it's just something that's happened too many times, and he
Exactly.
had surgery for appendicitis.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, him being out is fair.
All right. But again, some people we'll talk about in a bit. I have a gripe against Kevin Durant, actually.
Uh-oh.
Um, but that's like the last series that we're talking about, so that's fine. And then game two went way differently than I expected it to go. But the Celtics shot absolutely abysmal from the 3-point line in this game, uh, which again just leads me to say that again I didn't really realize that they were. I mean, I knew they were, but not to this extent. As a team, they shot 13 for 50 from three, which is 26%.
Good lord.
Which led, which led to their absolute downfall. But their downfall was also VJ Edgecombe, who's getting almost no talks for Rookie of the Year, but should be. He went into freaking Boston's arena and absolutely put belt to ass. 30 points on 12 of 20 shooting, 6 of 10 from three, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Tyrese Maxey was right along with him with 29 points, 11 for 28, 5 of 12, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals. They got a boost from Andre Drummond off the bench, and hey, look at that playoff P with 19 points. So in the two games, he's had 17 and 19, and pretty efficient shooting as well. Um, and then again, this Celtics team shot terribly from the 3-point line. Tatum was their second leading scorer with 19 points, and Jaylen Brown had 36. I thought that the Celtics were going to absolutely just sweep the series, again, especially without Embiid for the Sixers, but that did not happen. It is 1-1 going back to Philadelphia, and that is the probably worst case scenario for Boston with, you know, the Sixers going back to their crazy, crazy arena, tied 1-1 with all the momentum right now. And Edgecombe and Maxey playing best 1A, 1B basketball that you could play right now. And they're looking very hard to guard. So impressive. Again, I did not expect them to even get a game on the Celtics at all. But again, when a team relies on the 3-point shot as much as the Celtics do, and they have an off night, you can definitely beat them any time. And that's what is difficult with shooting so many threes nowadays. I'm going to sound like like some of the old heads, but that's what happens when you shoot so many threes. Is that when they don't go in, your offense struggles, but when they do go in, it does help your offense. So, yeah. Again, very impressed that the Sixers were able to get this win against the Celtics in Game 2 and take again all the momentum back to Philadelphia.
Okay. I'm definitely going to come off as an old head hating with what I'm about to say. But when are these teams are going to learn, especially these? I get it. You know, that's the thing with today's NBA is the three ball. But when are these teams going to learn? Okay, if you're struggling from three, your best chance of staying in a game is now trying to get into the paint and draw some fouls, get people in foul trouble. When are teams are going to go back to that old style play where, okay, the three's not falling. Okay, let's get into the paint. Let's get people in foul trouble. And with especially with a lot of players, once they start feeling a rhythm, then your shots will start dropping. From the looks of it, none of these Celtics players, with the exception of Jaylen Brown, got into a rhythm. And well, Jason Tatum, but he only mustered up 19 points. But he was 2 for 8 from three. Derek White was 2 for 10. I mean, Sam Hauser was 2 for 8. At some point, you got to say, okay, you know what? Let me put it on the ground, get to the hole, draw some fouls.
Yeah. I was able to watch actually Game 2 of the Nuggets and Timberwolves game. And at one point they were down 19, and um, the announcer's like, "Get to the basket. Stop shooting threes. Stop shooting threes if they're not going in. Go to the basket." And sure enough,
Exactly.
Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, they all started going to the basket, and they saw the ball go in the basket. That's what helps. A layup, a free throw, anything to see the ball go in the basket. And then what do you know? They go inside, they get doubled, they pass out, open three, and they make it. You got to change it up. You can't just shoot and chuck threes. It doesn't work all the time. Um, And again, like you said, what it looks like is that Jaylen Brown was like the only one who figured that one out for the Celtics. And just nobody else got in a rhythm and was able to knock down any shots, which led to the 111-97 loss yesterday to the Sixers. And here we go, the Knicks series. I've been excited to talk to you about this one because that was an ultimate collapse by them in game two. Um, and there's a new villain in New York, CJ McCollum. But I like his post game presser. He's like, I'm no villain. I have kids and a wife. I'm no villain. I just play basketball. Love that from him. But game one was very tightly contested, very close game, which is what I expect out of this series nonstop because these two teams are very evenly matched,
Well,
in
game
my
two is
opinion.
more closer than game one.
I know, but we're talking about game one first because we
Okay.
haven't been on to talk about game two yet. Um, Balanced scoring other than Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels is not out there to score for the Hawks. But Okongwu with 19, Jalen Johnson with 23, Cheatham McCollum with 26. And then on the Knicks side, OG had a great game with 18 points. He very efficient, 6 of 9, 2 of 3, and 4 of 4 with 8 rebounds. Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart both had 11. And then Jalen Brunson had 28 on 9 of 22 shooting, 3 of 4 from 3, 7 8 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. And then Karl Anthony Towns had 25 points, 6 for 13, 3 of 4. He went 10 for 10 from the free throw line. He was aggressive in this game, looking to get his shot, looking to get to the basket and get to the free throw line when he could. And he also added 3 blocks, so anything defensively that you get at a cat is definitely a positive. And the Knicks were able to pull out the win 102-113. Thoughts on game one, Tony?
Um, my biggest concerns are the turnovers. Cat had 5 turnovers. Hart had 2. Brunson had 2. Having 2 turnovers, I'm really not concerned about. But when you have 5 turnovers, it kind of it makes me ask if you're trying to do too much or if you're just being careless. Now, it's one thing if you're trying to do too much. Hey, you went for alley oop pass and then got tipped. Okay, but if you're making careless turnovers, that's not going to help you. Once again, you had the core Nick starters all in double digits. Um, with of course Brunson leading the way with followed by Cat and OG. Um, those three are basically our three-headed monster. But you got to look at also Atlanta's three-headed monster with Okungu, Johnson, and McCullen. And yeah, I mean they had 19, 23, and 26. So they was pretty much evenly matched with Ananobi, Towns, and Brunson. The only difference was, Hart had 11 and Bridges had 11, where Walker had 17 and Daniels was able to muster up 4. So, Hart and Bridges basically canceled out Walker.
Again, this series is going to be with the hustle plays and the nitty gritty because these two teams are very evenly matched. Other than uh, Dyson Daniels and Josh Hart are a little bit similar. They're not going to be out there for much offense. They're out there for their defense and the hustle plays. But then game two came around and the Hawks stole game two. TJ McCollum is the villain at the moment for New York. Of course, it's on the Hawks again, the guy that they traded to get away from Trae Young. They get TJ McCollum. Okongwu was struggling with foul trouble pretty much all game, so he got 15 points and 6 9 shooting. James Johnson struggled in the first half. I was able to watch the first half before I went to work. He struggled in the first half. I was able to come up with 17 points. CJ McCollum, 32 points. You guys couldn't stop him in the clutch. He was seeking out Jalen Brunson for that matchup, and for some reason they kept switching it, and Jalen Brunson kept getting on CJ McCollum, which is not right, which is not a good matchup for the Knicks. Don't switch it. Keep OG or keep Mikel or keep Josh Hart on CJ McCollum. Do not switch that matchup. And then Kuminga off the bench at 19 points. That was a huge contribution for the Hawks. A much needed boost. And then more balanced scoring from the Knicks with everybody just kind of contributing in their own way. Josh Hart with a 15-point game, which is much needed, but Mikel had an off game, 10 points and only 3 of 10 shooting. And he bricked the game-winning shot there at the end. But Jalen Brunson had another great game with 29 points. Again, I say he really stole this game because CJ McCollum missed 2 free throws there at the end, and Mikel had a chance to win the game. But Knicks were up pretty much the entire game, up by a certain by probably I think 10 at one point. But just were able to really put the Hawks away, and CJ McCollum got it going there in the fourth quarter, and again they took that game, and again now it's at 1-1 going back to Atlanta, which is something that the Knicks do not need right now.
Yeah, I agree. I love Bronson. He's a great offensive player. He is not the greatest defensive player. When they should have known better. This is my issue with Mike Brown, and I knew this was going to happen because instead of him just making sure Anunoby or Hart is on McCullen, they let them switch and Bronson gets on McCullen. McCullen's too big for Bronson to begin with. And we're not talking about height wise. We're just talking about as in physical body wise and strength wise. McCullen's just too big for him. He could bully Bronson into the paint and get to any spot he wants to, which is why you need Anunoby or Hart on McCullen. Even though people look at Hart and be like, well, he's a small size guard, but he plays like a power forward. I mean, how many guards at 6'4" rack up double digits rebounds on a nightly basis? You might be able to name 3 off the top of your head, if that. Kuminga pretty much feels he was the difference maker because he wasn't nowhere to be found in the first game. Of course, there was a Mitchell Robinson sighting. 13.6 for 6 from the line. 1 from 2 from the free throw line with 7 rebounds and a steal in the block. My issue is why was Mikal Bridges taking the last shot? Why wasn't it Towns? Why wasn't it Brunson or Anunoby? There's more players that I would rather have take that final shot than Mikal Bridges. And I get, the Knicks were struggling from, again, another thing. It's going to drive me fucking nuts this playoff series. When you're struggling from the 3, teams not getting into the paint to draw those fouls. Anunoby was fine, 50%, 2 for 4. Hart was 2 for 5. Cat was 2 for 5. Hart was 1 for 5. Bridges was 2 for 6. Brunson was 4 for 10. At that point, You need to just put the ball on the ground and get to the paint, draw some fouls. I don't know how I'm pretty sure I'm going to be saying this non-stop until the playoffs are over.
Yeah, shockingly, they actually shot 2% better than the Hawks did from three. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't comprehend or understand this. When there's a screen, you switch. When there's a matchup that teams are trying to seek out, do not switch the matchup. That's very simple. Work your ass off, get over the screen, and get back to your man.
Exactly. Or go under the screen.
Yeah, either way, you if you're either Bridges, Hart, or Ananobi, you have to stay with McCollum. You cannot let Jalen Brunson get on McCollum. You just can't, because that's what they were seeking, and they let it happen every time.
Because that's Mike Brown's defense. He switches everything, and
I
you
hate it.
and you heard me say it at the beginning before the playoff season the series started. I said as long as Mike Brown doesn't do any stupid fucking coaching decisions, long and behold, game two, fucking stupid coaching decisions that
That's
ugh,
a bunch of teams do it. A bunch of teams do it. As I watch, there's a bunch of switch coverages. In certain situations, most of the situations, it works. All right, that's fine. But it doesn't work in this situation. Jalen Brunson is not a good defender. He isn't. He is not. And to have him on McCollum three possessions in a row, to where he scored every single time, and then when OG guarded him, CJ was in a rhythm and he shot it right over OG. But that was because he got in a rhythm by scoring on Jalen Brunson. The whole last shot thing with Mikel, it was very rushed last kind of possession. McCollum missed those two free throws with about 4 seconds left, and then they kind of just launched it to whoever was open, and Mikel missed it. It was like right at the buzzer, so it was like really like no time to think about who's going to take it. Um, but I mean, just the whole switch coveraging is really just annoying to me. Of like, don't do that because you know that they're seeking out that matchup, but they did anyway, and just kind of allowed them to do that, which was very, very annoying to kind of watch there at the end of that game.
yeah, I agree. I'm just annoyed with the
All right, now the 4-5 matchup, the Raptors and Cavs. This series is not honestly going about as I expected. It was the Raptors are going to put up about as much of a fight as they possibly can. But the Cavs are just way too much more talented than the Raptors. Uh, your guy RJ Barrett had 24 points to lead the Raptors in game one. Went 10 for 13 shooting 3 of 6. Scotty Barnes dropped 21. And then on the Cavs side, Donovan Mitchell is absolutely cooking the Raptors defense. He had 32 points game one, 11 of 20, 4 of 7 from 3, 6 of 7 from three throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, but 4 turnovers, but also 2 steals. Max Strus, the former Miami Heat guy, had 24 points off the bench, shot 8 of 10, 4 of 6 from the 3-point line, and 4 of 4 for the 3. And the guy, James Harden, who I kind of sometimes forget he's on the Cavs, had 22 points, 8 of 18, 4 of 7, 2 of 2. He had 10 assists this game to go along with 2 steals. Again, this is going kind of how I expected game one was a 13-point win for the Cavs. Again, the Raptors just unfortunately are not as talented as the Cavs, and it's showing in certain situations. Having a hard time guarding Donovan Mitchell in this series so far. So again, I don't got much to say on this game because really, again, it went pretty much how I envisioned it. One team has more talent, but the other team is never going to give up to where they're going to make it easy for the Cavs. But Cavs were able to pull out the win anyway.
Um, my thing is the two best defenders on Toronto are R.J. Barrett and Scotty Barnes. Those two players should be taking turns on Donovan Mitchell. Like, granted, you're also worrying about James Harden, but I mean, let's be realistic. It's the playoffs. James Harden is going to disappear when it comes down to crunch time. He's done it his whole entire career. He's when the game gets tight, he's nowhere to be found. So those two, R.J. Barrett and Scotty Barnes, need to be focusing on Donovan Mitchell. I don't care if you gotta switch them every once in a while. Have Barrett take them, have Barnes take them, and then the other one cover Harden. But those two who are best two defensive players on that team, need to find a way to, basically eliminate Donovan Mitchell. Otherwise, this is going to be a sweep.
Yeah, and it's it's just bad because game two got a little bit worse. Ingram is my I don't know where he's disappeared to. He has played not great in the first two games. He went 3 of 15 in this game for only 7 points with 5 turnovers. RJ Barrett had 4 turnovers on 22 points. Barnes had 26 points before turnovers. As a team, the Raptors had 22 turnovers. That is not going to win any game, never mind a playoff game.
Nope.
Um, they got good bench play out of Sandro Mampus-Kalashvili with 12 points. Colin Murray Boyles with 17. The rookie played great in the first two games. He had 17 points in this game, and he had 14 in the first game. And Jacoby Walker had 14 points as well. But then for the Cavs, it was all the starters. All starters did really well, other than Dean Wade. But Dean Wade is out there kind of just for his defense and 3-point shooting. But Evan Mobley, James Harden, and Donovan Mitchell all had 25 plus. Mitchell with another 30-point game. Once again, they cannot guard Donovan Mitchell, and the team only had 12 turnovers. And the Cavs win by 10. Going back to Toronto, we'll see how that goes for the Raptors. Maybe they just need some home cooking. But as of right now, I think it is all Cavs. I would be shocked if they even drop a game in Toronto. That's my personal opinion with how well they are playing. Serious adjustments are needed for the Raptors to even make this a series. So 2-0 for the Cavs.
Yeah. Toronto, you cannot have your best three players with a combined 13 turnovers. There is no way you're going to win. I mean, especially when the Cavs team as a whole had one less turnover than your top three players. So, yeah, you need to cut down on the turnovers. The 22 turnovers is ridiculous. And again, your two best defenders, Barnes and Barrett, again, you need to find a way to, slow down Donovan Mitchell. And the rest of the team needs to focus on making sure, you're protecting the ball. Again, you're not going to win a game with your top three players averaging having 13 turnovers. It's fucking impossible.
No, it's impossible and something that they gotta figure out. And again, Ingram needs to step up. Only 7 points is not gonna cut it for one of their best scoring options. And then we got the 1-8 matchup in the West. Only one game has been played so far, but it went exactly as expected. 84-119 was the final score of this game. Absolute whooping by the Thunder to the Suns. Dylan Brooks had 18 points. He shot 22 shots. I don't know who the fuck he thinks he is shooting 22 fucking shots. But he needs to get his head checked. Devin Booker had 23 points. And Jalen Green had 17. So their three best scorers had all 15 plus. But when you're going against a team like the Thunder who have nonstop scoring, it's gonna be tough to stop them. SGA at 25 and Williams at 22. Game two is on tonight after the Pistons and Magic game. I got much to say on this game because it went exactly like I said how I expected it to go. Of Suns not having enough and the Thunder just being way too much to handle. Um, so yeah, that's all I got because you know what, this I think an easy sweep for the Thunder.
Yeah, I don't even have anything on this one. It's just ridiculous.
The Thunder are just way too good. They just really are. They are way too good. Um, and it's unfair, but you know they worked their way to it. You know they didn't trade or sign to get all these great players. They fucking worked for it and they drafted them. So
Yeah, I thought we both
now,
called the series to be a sweep. So yeah,
mm, I expected this series to be a sweep, but spoiler alert, it's not. The Spurs and Trailblazers series, game one, I'm all right. Kind of knew how that was going to go. 98 to 111, the Suns win that game. The Spurs. I can't talk either, Tony. Don't worry about it. The
it's
Spurs.
contagious.
Well, I mean, that that's been for a while. I can't talk, but uh, yeah, the Spurs defense really showed up. I mean, as you see here, the Blazers couldn't get anything going. Kamara with 8 points. Avdia had 30 points at least. But then Holiday only had 9 and Scoot Henderson at 18. Avdia was pretty much the Trailblazers' only offense in the entire game. And if he didn't get it going or he didn't get a shot to go, it was pretty much impossible for anybody else to. Wembanyama, 35 points, the most in a playoff debut in Spurs history. And Stephon Castle had 17, and Devin, the very great balanced scoring by the Spurs. 35 for Wemby, 17, and then 15 and 17. Um, Again, the Trailblazers just don't have enough, but that didn't matter in game two, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, I mean, game one went uh according to plan, in my opinion. With the Spurs winning game one.
Yeah, I want to talk about game two because I already knew how game one was going to turn out.
All right, game two. The Trailblazers win 106 to 103, so that the series is tied 1-1. The big news is that Wembanyama left the game in the second quarter with a concussion. He smacked his face off the floor on a fall. So he's in concussion protocol and could be out for game three, who we do not know yet. Again, he's one of those players. You could see why he won the unanimous Defensive Player of the Year, because as soon as he went out, the Trailblazers just got like new life and they were able to get to the basket more often because Wembanyama was not in the game. Avdia had an off game, but Henderson had an amazing game with 31 points on 11 for 17 shooting. And then the Spurs were not able to pull out the win without Wembanyama, which shows how much of a difference maker he is on both ends of the court. So very shocking game two result, which makes the series tied 1-1 going back to Portland, which is something I did not have on my bingo card for this series.
Yeah, it made a huge difference when Miami won out. As you can see, compared to the first game, where the first game they didn't even put up 100 points, and in this game they put up 106. Um, the San Antonio's defense, and offense wasn't the same without Wembanyama, which shows again, like you said, why he's was the unanimous defensive player of the year because he is a huge game changer. Um, and with him being in the concussion protocols, we don't know if he's going to be available for game three or even game four because concussions can take up clear a couple of days up to like a couple of weeks. So it depends on how bad of a concussion he got. If he is for some reason out for the remainder of this series, um, Portland might be able to steal this.
It would be to me one of the biggest upsets I've seen in my life right now if the Trailblazers were able to pull off the upset. But we'll see. I don't see him playing game three. He might play game four, but again, it's a concussion. It's something that is definitely a day-to-day thing of how he feels. And then next is my favorite series of the whole playoff so far. I hate that it's a first round series. I really do. The Timberwolves and Nuggets series. Game one, the Nuggets win by 11. They were down by I think 19 or 14 points at a certain point, but they came back and were able to win this game. Your guy Julius Randle once had 16 points and on 10 minutes of 16 shooting. McDaniels had 16. Gobert had 17. Anthony Edwards had 22, and Ayo Dosunmu off the bench had 14. Nuggets. Jamal Murray dropped a 30 burger, and Nikola Jokic had a triple double. It was a lot of Jokic and Murray show, and they got a good contribution out of Aaron Gordon uh, with 17 points. So game one, this whole series is going to be entertaining as hell. I'm again, this is my favorite series of the first round. Because it's just they play each other all the time and they have a genuine hate for each other, which makes it more interesting and more exciting to watch. So, yeah, game one, the Nuggets won by 11, uh, with the strong contribution from Jokic and Murray.
Um, Once again, I'm gonna have to say it because in game one, as you can see, Randall 0 for 3 from downtown. McDaniels 0 for 4 from downtown.
Edwards two
Anthony
for nine.
Edwards 2 for 9. Uh, Dustman, whatever the fuck his last name is, was 3 for 7. Again, if your three ball is not falling, take your ass to the hole, draw some fouls. Quit trying to shoot your way out of this shit. It's not going to work. I mean, Denver wasn't much better from 3. Aaron Gordon was 1 for 5. Cam Johnson was 2 for 7. Nicola was 2 for 7. Murray was 0 for 8. And Braun was the only one who actually had a decent percentage. He was 2 for 3. But you notice the difference? The rest of them, they got to the line. Especially Jamal Murray, 16 from 16 for free throw land. What does that tell you? Hey, my three ball's not falling? Okay, I'm going to get to the line. Although shooting 7 for 22, I don't know how the fuck they won that game shoot with him shooting like that. But, yeah.
Well, I mean, game two is not going to make you much happier with the 3-point shooting.
Of course, I know. I'm looking at it right now.
Randall at least shot 2 for 4. McDaniels went 0 for 3. DiVincenzo he okay. So I was able to watch this game while at work yesterday, which I'm lucky to be able to. But this game was wait no, not yesterday. What the fuck game was this? Monday night I was able to watch this game. Entertaining as hell. Again, the Timberwolves were down by 19 points after the first quarter. They could not score the basket at all. It was 3 after 3 after 3, and they couldn't make it. The Nuggets had 4-point plays in the first quarter that they kept fouling on 3-point shot by Murray and by Tim Hardaway Jr. But they locked in, and they eventually again just started going to the hoop, going to the basket, getting fouled, making layups, making some mid ranges to get anything to go, and then the 3-point shot opened up for them. Again, not much because Anthony Edwards went for 11. DiVincenzo went 4 of 7. But then their
I
bench
mean,
had a
4
good
for 7 is not that
night.
bad.
No, like as I said, like not too good, like not too bad on the percentage, while everybody else struggled. Because then you go on the Nuggets side, Gordon went 1 for 4, Cam Johnson went 1 for 6, Jokic went 1 for 7. Murray went 6 for 14, 14 of his 25 shots were from 3. Hardaway Jr. went 3 for 3 from 3. But yeah, I mean, this was a tale of really kind of just 2 quarters. Like the Nuggets had the momentum, and then the Timberwolves took it right back. And it's like the Nuggets could never fully regrasp the momentum and weren't able to slow down Anthony Edwards at a certain point, who again had 30 points on 10 and 25 shooting with 10 rebounds. So he had a double-double in this game. Good contributions from the bench with Naj Reid, Dosumu, and Bones Highland. It was a great all-around game for the Timberwolves, who won by 5. And Jokic had a very off kind of game shooting wise. He went 8 for 20 and 1 of 7 for 3. He only had 6 points in the first quarter, or sorry, in the first half. He needs to be more aggressive, in my opinion. That's just again my opinion. He had 15 rebounds, Togo with 8 assists. But again, at a certain point, if you see that your teammates aren't getting it to fall, you got to be more aggressive. Only scoring 6 points in the first half is not going to cut it, in my opinion, in a playoff game.
Yeah. At least they took the advice of, hey, the three's not falling. Let's get to the line. They basically got lucky because Jokic basically had a horrible first half. He turned it up in the second half, almost had a triple double. But again, the turnovers, which makes it a big deal as well. But yeah, I mean, this series is going 7.
Oh
It's
yeah,
for some by some weird
sorry,
mishap that everybody forgets how to shoot. This game is going 7.
which is what I want, because again, this is my favorite series of the entire playoffs so far. I mean, again, I hate that it's a first round matchup. I really do, because both these teams, I think, could make a playoff run, but one of them's got to go out in the first round, and it'll definitely be in 7. Here we go. The Rockets and Lakers series. Kevin Durant. I like you. I do. I think he's probably the best scorer I've ever seen. But not the best player. People need to take those 2 arguments away from each other. For you to sit out because your knee is sore, I gotta watch what I say. That's a bitch move to me. Because all you did now, with the Lakers being without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, you gave the Lakers, who have a huge talent disadvantage, in my opinion, with the role players, you gave them confidence. Luke Kennard was the leading scorer for the Lakers with 27 points, 9 of 13 shooting, 5 for 5 from 3.
Okay, timeout.
Yep.
Who the fuck is Luke Kennard?
He was traded to the Lakers from the Hawks for Gabe Vincent. And Luke Kennard is leading the NBA in 3-point percentage, I guess, this year.
Okay, you may continue.
So that kind of guy who's more of a spark plug kind of guy, but they're starting him because of the injuries, has now the utmost confidence in that they can win this series because you wanted to sit out because your knee was hurting you. Your team only lost by 9. If you played, your team could have won. Even if you weren't 100%, that's fine. You don't have to be 100. You could be 80%. I don't care if you jogged out there, but your presence out there would have been enough to me for your team to win game 1. The guys did what they could without their best scorer on the court. Jabari Smith had 16, Şengün had 19, Thompson had 17, and Reed Shepard had 17, and then Eason off the bench had 16 points, 7 for 7 shooting, which is very impressive. But to me, if you want to be a superstar, if you want to be on top, if you want to be talked about with a LeBron status, as much as I hate LeBron, he wouldn't have sat out with a bum knee.
I don't know.
Not in the playoffs.
Again, I don't know. He's done it
I don't
before.
think- But in this situation, he knows he wouldn't. I don't like him. I think people know I've had the rants about him. I think probably 50 times on the podcast by now. Him and his son. But in the situation of a series where the talent is so swayed to the other side, again, just being out there is a difference. Even if Durant scored, say, 13 points, just his presence being out there would have given these guys a bit more open shots. But again, now the Lakers role players have the utmost confidence in themselves that they can win. DeAndre Ayton had 19 points. 19 motherfucking points for DeAndre Ayton in game 1. Marcus Smart had 15. Hachimura had 14, and LeBron had 19 points with 13 assists because you gave the confidence to the role players. That's my rant on Kevin Durant. I really do like him. I think, again, he is the best scorer I've ever gotten to witness. But, man, I mean, sitting out game 1 and your team loses, and now we saw what happened in game 2. It's not looking good. It is not looking good.
I'm not going to knock him for sitting out with his knee issue. From a person coming with that has knee issues, I mean, it's possibly he just couldn't go. I mean, no, we don't know the severity of his knee issue, but I do get what you're saying. That it is the playoffs, and that just him, like, I agree that with his presence just being on the court could have made a difference. Um, Obviously, he was on the court for game 2, and it didn't make a difference. But then again, he also had 9 turnovers in game 2, which, again, you got to, between, you know, stop settling for threes and get into the hole and drawing fouls. You also got to protect the ball. You're not going to win the game turning the ball over. And I agree, with him not being on the court again, because we don't know the severity of the knee. I'm not going to knock him for it. If he could have just, even if he would have been out there to limp around as used as a decoy, that again, we don't know how severe his knee was bothering him. But yeah, you gave in players. I mean, Kennard again had put up 23 points. Marcus Smart 25 points. The real Ayton finally came back to life and only had 6 points. He came back to reality, and then LeBron James ended up with 28 points. Of course, majority of it came from the free throw line because he probably was whining about calls that he really shouldn't have gotten, and well, we know how LeBron is. He flops on every damn thing. So, um, Durant needs to be 100% healthy for this to even be a series. Granted, he put up 23 points. He was 7 for 12, 1 for 4. Hey, he looked at it. Hey, my 3-point shot's not falling. I'm getting to the line. 8 for 9. But the 9 turnovers is what basically did him in.
Yeah, and the big difference to me in this game was, so I was able to watch this game at work yesterday. His others couldn't make the open shots that he was creating. Tari Eason went 4 for 14. I mean
That's
that's
bad.
abysmal. That is absolutely abysmal. Uh, Jabari Smith went 3 to 7 from three. Uh, Thompson went only 0 for 1, but 6 of 10. There was no, but the only bench scoring that they got was from Tari Eason, and that was 10 points. All the other bench players went 0 for. They didn't make a shot. That between the 9 turnovers and the lack of shooting. All right, so Jason Tate went 0 for 1. Capella went 0 for 3. Aaron Holiday went 0 for 3. And Reed Shepard went 0 for 4. The others did not help Kevin Durant out, whereas the others definitely helped LeBron James out when he
I
gave him
agree.
the ball. It's going to come down to the others in this series at the moment, because we know what we're going to get out of Kevin Durant. We know what we're going to get out of LeBron James. At this point, it's going to come down to the Shangoons, the Thompsons, the Jabari Smiths, and the Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard and Rui Hachimura's. That's what it's going to come down to, because we know what we're going to get out of the two stars in the series. If the Lakers win this series without Luka and Reeves, it's going to be a massive failure for the Rockets. That is going to be my opinion on the series and the season for them.
Agreed.
But that is all I got. That's it. And at the half right now, it is tied 46-46 for the Pistons and Magic game. The leading scorers are Jalen Suggs with 15 for the Magic and 15 for Cade Cunningham for the Pistons. They're your leading scorers.
I don't have anything else.
I don't either.
I guess it's a time for a word from our sponsor. Well, I caught myself from our partner. Oh, I still got to get used to that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I have a new one today.
Ooh.
This is your sign to stop drinking mid energy. Still sipping on weak fuel that leaves you crashing 30 minutes later? Embarrassing. Enter Doobie, the energy that doesn't play nice, clean, mean, built to keep you locked in while everyone else burns out. No jitters, no crash, just smooth, relentless energy that hits like a wake-up call you can't ignore. One scoop and suddenly You're outworking everyone. Your focus is razor sharp, and excuses gone. Let's be real. You don't need another basic drink. You need something that keeps up with you. Doobie. Stay wired, stay winning, stay dangerous. And of course, if you want any Doobie products, go to their website, put a drop code in DropZone, and you get 10% off on your total order. And I think right now they're doing a buy one get one free special. Because I think I got an email about that. Yes, they're doing a buy one get one free special right now because they have so much. They made so much that they want to give people what they need. Oh, I noticed you're still in Cancun.
I am. Uh, I'm enjoying the. I'm going to be enjoying the NFL draft from Cancun. I am not going back to that Steelers place until we are done with the draft. Which actually, who? All right. So you guys have two top five or two top 10 picks now.
Yep.
Who would you be happy with? Who you guys pick?
Well, I
At
already
this
told
point.
you I wanted the wide receiver from Ohio State, Tate.
Hmm. Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to view who else is available for that number 10 spot. Um,
Let's see. Hold on. Um,
let's see.
I'm trying to see. Mel Kiper's his most recent one. 'Cause he is the guru.
Um,
That's not what I'm looking for.
okay. So, according to the final mock draft, they got us picking Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State, which I kind of don't agree with, but okay. Um,
Yeah, at number 10. And at number 5, they had you guys picking Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State, actually.
so, oh, you got that's my Mel Kiper's mock draft.
No, I got. This is. Who's not draft? This is Matt Miller and Jeremy Fowler. I couldn't
Okay,
even find his most recent one.
the one I have is from Rob Rang, the analyst from Fox Sports.
Oh, okay.
So, like
There,
I
there
said,
was
he
one
has
earlier. Sure.
yeah, um he has Caleb Downs going to us at number 5, and then he have us picking an offensive lineman from Miami.
Right. A different one I have is from Pete Schrader. He's one of the co-hosts of ESPN's Get Up. Uh, he has at 5. He has you guys picking Arvo Reese, the edge out of Ohio State. With again just giving up Lawrence,
Which we don't need another edge rusher.
and then at 10, he has you guys picking Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. Where's that wide receiver out of fucking Tate? You want? Yeah, you want Tate. He
Yeah,
has him
Cardinal
going
Tate.
7. Yeah, he has him going 7 to the Commanders.
Yeah, Rob has the Cardinal Tate going to the Saints at number 8.
Yeah, and then in this one, The Steelers we should draft an offensive lineman again, which we probably will. Because we're picking 21st. Yeah, they have us drafting Monroe Freeling out of Georgia for our pick. So I mean, I'd be fine with that. Again, we definitely need offensive line help. Aaron Rodgers still hasn't even given us a choice of what he wants to do yet, as far as want to stay with us or play or whatever. So I guess we'll find out. But I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
because
excited.
he probably is waiting to see what you guys do in the draft.
Yeah, well, now we don't know if we should go for another quarterback or what. But I mean, we have Will Howard, we have Mason Rudolph, but those aren't going to get it done, in my opinion. I mean, Will Howard might be good, but I kind of need to see it on the field first.
Let's see. Yeah, they don't have any more mock drafts, so that's all they had was Rob's.
Yeah, so you want the safety and the wide receiver?
No, I want the. I mean, if we could get both of them, fine. I'm okay with that. But I would prefer the wide receiver because we have, I think we have good safeties in Tyler Nubin and Javon Holiday. So we don't need another. We don't need another safety. We need wide receivers to go along with to help go on our offense. Because when Malik Neighbors come back, you know, and we're going to have Scotty coming back, we need more weapons. So I don't see the point of going after a safety.
Yeah, unless the thought is to put them at cornerback or change Nubin to a cornerback or anything. Yeah, you guys could definitely use another weapon alongside Neighbors. Again, you guys have Likely, Theo Johnson, and then all the great running backs that you guys have. Eric Hart as well as at your fullback. So, and a lot of things looking up for your offense, and it could look even better after the draft tomorrow. Well, the first round is tomorrow.
Yep. All right. Well, that's pretty much about it for the rest of the show tonight.
Yep.
Either Jason was at work or he might have been sleeping because I haven't seen him. Well, I've seen him early online, but I haven't seen him tonight.
But I know he's doing Jason things. But
Of course.
yeah. Thank
So
you
we'll see.
for watching.
Yep. Remember to hit that subscribe and like button if you're on YouTube. And of course, if you missed today's episode, you can catch us on Spotify podcast, Amazon podcast, Apple podcast, and iHeartRadio podcast. Those audio versions will be uploaded within the hour. So until next week, see everybody later.
Bye.